The Tecno Pova 7 looks like it skipped the trend-chasing nonsense and asked one simple question. What if a phone gave you real value where it actually matters? No fake hype, no recycled designs, just raw practicality. And a battery that lasts so long it feels like it is mocking every overpriced flagship out there. Now, before you scroll past thinking, another budget phone with big numbers, hold that thought, because there is something about the Pova 7 that gets under your skin. In a good way, yes, it has a 108-megapixel camera. Yes, it has a 120 Hz AMOLED screen. But those are just surface-level specs. The real story is how Tecno is quietly building phones that understand real people, not just reviewers. The first thing you notice is the size. It is a large phone, unapologetically bold. At 6.78 inches, the AMOLED display is vibrant, sharp, and smooth, with 120 Hz making swiping feel instant. This is the kind of screen you would expect on a phone costing twice as much, and it is not just for show. Watching Netflix, scrolling reels, reading documents, it all feels natural and comfortable. But let us talk about what really matters to everyday users: endurance. The 7,000 mAh battery inside this phone is no joke. On regular use, it will last you 2 full days, easily. I am talking navigation, video calls, gaming, and the usual social media loop. The 45-watt charging is not mind-blowing, but it is fast enough to hit 50% in half an hour. You are never stuck waiting around. And the 10-watt reverse charging, it turns your phone into a backup battery pack. That is the kind of utility most brands would charge you extra for. Now, performance. The Tecno Pova 7 runs on the MediaTek Helio G99 Ultimate. Not the fastest chip out there, but not a weak one either. In real-world usage, apps open fast, multitasking is smooth, and light to medium gaming runs well. Titles like PUBG and Asphalt run at stable frame rates on medium settings, but push it too far and you will feel the limits. This is not a flagship processor, and it never claimed to be. What matters is that the user experience remains consistent. You are not fighting stutters or random lags. The 8GB RAM handles everyday tasks with confidence, and the thermals are surprisingly well controlled. One small frustration: no SD card slot. The internal 128GB or 256GB is generous, but expandable storage would have made this a complete media powerhouse. About that 108-megapixel camera, here is the honest truth. It sounds exciting, but megapixels are not everything. In good lighting, shots come out detailed, with strong contrast and color balance. But in low light, you will see noise and softness creep in. The 2-megapixel macro lens is forgettable, more of a checklist feature than a useful tool. And the selfie camera? It works fine in daylight, but dynamic range is limited. As one real user put it, this is not a phone for perfect Instagram shots, but for capturing real moments, it does more than enough. And that feels like the right way to look at this phone. Audio performance is another surprise. The stereo speakers are loud and clean, and there is support for high-res audio, wired and wireless. You still get a headphone jack, which feels rare these days. Add to that NFC, an IR blaster, FM radio, and even a feature called Circle to Search, and you start realizing how Tecno is stuffing this phone with things people actually use. And while we are at it, that fingerprint scanner under the display, it works. It is not as fast as flagship scanners, but it is reliable and accurate. You tap, it opens. The phone comes in bold colors like Geek Black and Magic Silver. The design is not subtle, but it is confident. It does not try to look like an iPhone clone. It owns its personality, and that counts for something. The IP64 rating means basic protection from dust and splashes. You still do not want to drop it in a pool, but you are safe from rain or spills, so let us bring it all together. The Tecno Pova 7 is not trying to win spec wars. It is not pretending to be a camera phone or a gaming beast. It is here for one reason: to give regular users a practical, reliable, long-lasting phone with enough power, enough features, and none of the fluff. So who is the Tecno Pova 7 actually made for? If you are someone who just wants a phone that lasts not just through the day, but through the next one too, this battery alone makes it worth looking at. It is for people who stream videos on the go, spend hours on messaging apps, and want a screen that feels smooth without breaking the bank. The sound is loud, the visuals are sharp, and you still get useful things like NFC and reverse charging, which many phones at this price just skip altogether. Now, if your day revolves around mobile photography, or if you're chasing ultra graphics and heavy games, you might run into limits here. The camera holds its own in daylight, but this is not the device for pixel-perfect night shots. And while gaming is stable, this is not a performance champ meant for competitive players. It all comes down to expectations. The Pova 7 does not try to be everything, but what it does confidently. For anyone looking for dependability, long battery life, and real-life utility without overpaying, this phone hits a sweet spot most others miss. Or as one user put it, I stopped worrying about battery halfway through the day, and that alone felt like freedom. If that sounds like something you have been missing, the Tecno Pova 7 might just surprise you in the best way. At around 200 to 230 euros, this phone makes a strong case for value-first users. It knows what it is, and more importantly, it knows what people actually need. If this sounds like your kind of phone, check the link in the description for current pricing and availability. And if this review review helped you make a decision, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments.